So, Bonnie, one of our listeners asked, how do we come up with our hidden rules? And so I thought we should talk about that today on stepping out of stuck. So, welcome to the YouTube show, Stepping Out of Stuck. I'm your host, Ted Simmons, the superhero of shyness.
And I'm your host, Bonnie Brindle, the Anxiety Avenger.
And together we
Help you.
to get unstuck.
So let's get after it. I love this question because we got stuck on this question earlier today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe that people really feel like we immediately know what the hidden rule is behind all the things we discuss because we have one each time, right? And in our conversation earlier today, we discovered that some have been rules with us for a long time, so we know exactly what they are. And then other times, we really have to work together to figure one out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an interesting exploration because we both realize things in real time as we're doing it, right?
Yes. Yes. We're flying the plane and building it at the same time.
Yes. I remember, like, one time we were talking about something and my neck just kind of, like, released something out of it, the tension out of it, and
Wow.
I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I can't." We were talking about, how my parents were just, like, fighting all the time, and it just made it, um tough for me to even put my own foot in, and say something. But just in releasing in talking about it, it released that kind of energy.
That's incredible. And that's such a key to how we've helped ourselves and how we hope our audience can catch on to that as far as if you have a person or animal to talk to about what's going on with you that's stressful, let it out to anyone you feel safe with, because holding that in and right, eh, and holding it in tightly and to be safe was one of the hidden rules we've talked about before, right? You hold on to things really tightly in order to protect yourself from being hurt. That's the hidden rule we've both dealt with in the past. But that
Right.
conversation we had this morning when we started for a minute, when we were talking about our next episode on procrastination, and you knew right away what your hidden rule was about it. I mean, there was no can you just roll that up for us again? What was your hidden rule about procrastination? How did you know?
What I was doing was I was protecting myself from what my what the potential of what my mom was going to do. My mom was always super smart and always taking over projects. And my my hidden rule was if I don't let her see any part of it, then I can do it on my own.
Mm.
And so that's what I ended up doing is I ended up, just hiding everything and doing it on my own.
Oh. Did you do things in the last minute sometimes too? Like, so that nothing
Oh,
that wouldn't be discovered?
that was the key. That was what made it look like procrastination was me hiding it until the very last minute, doing it last minute at the last minute of the last hour of the night,
Right.
putting everything onto paper. Um, I'd really been thinking about it for weeks or months or days or depending on what it was, and I'd been organizing ideas in my head. And when I sat down in that last hour, I could just put it to paper and it would just flow wonderfully.
Yeah. Yeah. I can identify with that. I actually called that percolating for
Percolating, that's a good
myself.
one. Yeah.
Percolating, yeah. Right? Doing a lot of work in your head and not putting it out
Mhm,
there,
mhm.
till the last so, okay. So when you're thinking about what for you looked like procrastination, it wasn't that you weren't self-starting on things. You were starting under here where you wouldn't be seen, right? Okay, so it looked like you weren't getting anything done.
Right.
And your hidden rule about that, what I mean, I know that that's so clear to you. The hidden
Mhm.
rule was to protect yourself from.
Keep keep all of my ideas inside my head so that then nobody can affect them, right?
Yeah. Right, like you
Yeah,
mentioned control and yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, finding the hidden rule behind what we started talking about that I struggle with, which is
Uh-huh.
multitasking,
Okay.
which nerd alert. Let me just say this right now. None of you out there, not me, not him, none of us can multitask effectively. The brain can do one thing at a time, right? But we do it all the time. And for me as a teacher, oh my gosh, of course. I was always multitasking. But I couldn't come up with like what the hidden rule was behind starting this and not finishing it and going to this and doing this all at the same time. It was not clear to me. Like what was I doing, right? And it took God, what were we on the phone for, like 45 minutes
Oh, yeah.
earlier
Yeah,
today?
yeah.
It took about 45 minutes for me to get to that because that looks like procrastination, right? You start in project A, you get so far. Project A doesn't go where it needs to go because project B gets started, and then project C gets started, and you're doing them all at once, and they don't show up finished. You're percolating but not finishing. But it took our conversation for me to realize that that hidden rule behind that came from so much earlier when I was dealing with debilitating anxiety and I was trying to outrun it,
Interesting.
right? So I'd switch. I'd keep going on something and starting something new to avoid the demon thoughts that were coming in my head that made me anxious to kind of shove them back there.
Mhm.
And
Keeping
it's like,
yourself
well, yeah,
so busy that you couldn't think about anything else?
totally. Absolutely. And that was the hidden rule. Keep my mind busy on the things that I'm moving forward on so the gremlins can't chase me from behind because my mind is too busy. And that looked like procrastination because, as I said, wasn't getting all the things done. But coming to that as the hidden rule took a lot of conversation and back and forth and exploring for us together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what do you think? How do you think we can help our listener to maybe they have a situation they're dealing with, maybe they're having a struggle and they don't know what the hidden rule is behind the repeated behavior that they are doing, like me multitasking and you hiding stuff. That behavior behind it, how do we help them discover the hidden rule that's operating in the background?
I went through one of the things I started doing was looking at what my automatic response was to things. Um, every time I had a project, I was procrastinating until the end of it and I looked at that and I was looking at, how do I fix my procrastination problem? And then looking at the various different, um, ways that people were curing their own procrastination and realizing that none of that fit.
Uh, mhm.
That wasn't, I was coming up with all of these ideas in my head and storing them in my head, and it became more of a strategy. I was going through and planning out these strategies of how I was going to write the paper in my head, and then it would just come out. This is what I want to focus on. I think I could come at it in this angle, and it would look interesting. I believe that somebody, what's the ultimate summary of what I'm trying to come up with and everything, and it all fit in my head and was there in that virtual notebook up there. I just wasn't putting it to paper because I was afraid of anyone, messing it up or touching it. And
You just
yeah,
hit on something. that made a connection.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, so when what I was thinking about how I was trying to find the hidden rule behind my multitasking.
Uh-huh.
They're both fear. They're
Yes.
both fear, right? We were
Yes.
we were both operating on fear. "Ah!" You
Yes.
know, "You're
Yes.
gonna be taken over, I'm gonna be taken over by completely different
Mhm.
forces, but the
Yep.
same kind of fear of being overwhelmed," right? So that is something I would like to think that our listener could really look at. Like, if they're
Mhm.
feeling stuck in a certain area, like when we get stuck sometimes, to take that apart like the way you did, you like, so what I was doing, what did it look like I was doing, how did it feel while I was doing it, right? To really look for that basis behind it all, that hidden rule, which is exactly what we were talking about, how to find
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And I want to circle back because you always offer this and it's fantastic. These hidden rules, these behaviors that helped us in those times. I don't multitask as much as I used to. I don't have to have 10 things going on in my hand to avoid, because I've worked on this for so long. You don't have to
Yes.
worry about someone stealing your intellectual property anymore in the same way. Those things protected us at the time from what we feared the most. So how do you kind of pull that together to remind people about those things, that those skills that protected us?
It basically what protected us gave us skills. And when you understand them, you can build lasting confidence.
Understanding. That is what comes when we take them apart into the pieces and look what's really behind it to
Yeah.
find the hidden rule. I love
Yeah.
that. So, okay, I think that's a really good basis for you folks out there to consider. What hidden rules might you have behind the things you feel stuck with? And take your time and kind of look at the each piece of that and see what it is underneath that you're actually acting upon. Like Ted and I were really both acting on two different kinds of fear. So, yes, glad you're here with us today. Please make sure to come back and see us, like and subscribe. We really want to keep putting this out for you, this content out for you.